Hi everybody, this is Obi-Wan Pez coming at you with an episode of a new series that I'm going to call F It, Let's Start Over. So, this is Banished, came out from Shining Rock Software in 2015, and I only got into it probably about a year ago. It's an interesting little game, civ builder sort of thing. There are no real tech trees or anything to speak of. This is just basically survive. As far as I can tell, you have literally been banished from society, and your group is just trying to survive, start over again. So I am going to play on random map seed, and let's go with, sure, Edgewoodburn. We're going to play on fair climate. You have the option of making it mild or harsh. This is just kind of a middle-of-the-road difficulty to play on. Disasters are on, and the starting conditions are medium. So you begin the game with 5 families. Clothing, food, firewood, tools, and construction materials are provided. Storage barn has already been built. Some seeds for fields and orchards are available. Alright, I have no idea what this map seed is going to yield, so this ought to be interesting. Let's start. First couple of things that you are going to want to do as soon as the game starts is get some sort of production going as far as food, and also start chopping down some of the stuff in the immediate area. So I'm going to go over to take out the... Let's take out the resources in this area. And hopefully these villagers will take a hint and start moving. Alright, and at the same time I'm going to pull up in the tools and report section, the jobs to citizens and general stats about the town. I like having these two things available all the time, because this allows you to see what season you're in, what year you're on, and all of the resources available, as well as allowing you to assign specific tasks to villagers. Laborers are just going to be random people who do anything that you tell them to. So right now, they're all going to work on chopping down the trees, except the 2 children that are here. Immediately, I'm going to start building homes. I'm going to start with... Stone houses are a little more expensive, but they are worth it. I'm going to put a dirt road next to the storage barn, which will allow people to move faster. And I am going to create a school, which will allow... basically takes all children, and instead of making them go directly to work when they reach age, and coming of age in this game is, I believe it was 10 years old. So you notice that here I have one tiny square up in the top left corner that is on the riverbank. It's too close, so we pull it down a little bit, allow the arrows to be on the road so that people can move faster once they leave it. And this creates a footprint area. Now I need to have 2 trees removed, and then the relevant resources need to be put on. I'm going to put 2 builders onto this task. They are dedicated builders, and they will get on it as soon as possible. I'm also going to start building stone houses. Houses need to be somewhat separated from other people, or from other buildings, because if they end up catching fire, it can cause some serious problems. So I'm going to go with 1, 2, 3, and place down another house. And 1, 2, 3. Three houses will be enough for now, but you know, obviously we need to get as many houses as we can in this area in order to make sure that everybody has space to live. We have here lots of deer. Iron is this gray resource, and stone is the lighter gray resource, a bit rounder. Iron is kind of polygonal or polyhedral, whereas stone is a bit rounder. Alright, they've chopped down a whole bunch of this area. We're going to put up now a fishing dock. Now, a fishing dock needs to be partially in the water, no real surprise there, and partially out of the water. We're going to try to move this as close as we can to town, right there. And we're going to include a road that is going to run straight from the fishing dock back to the town. That's not helpful. Interesting. Okay. So we're going to have our road run straight down to the fishing dock as straight as we can. It's very important that when you place a fishing dock, you place as much of this circle as you can in water. So having it on an end of an island like this, a bend in the river, is really great. The only other viable place for here would be probably right next to it. You could potentially put it on the other side of the river over here, or up here somewhere, but at the same time that makes it much harder to reach. You'd have to build a lot of bridges to make it out there, and bridges are somewhat expensive. So, laborers are going to start bringing the resources needed to these locations to build them. Building roads allows your villagers to move a lot faster. Stone roads are much, much faster, but they also cost more resources, whereas dirt roads allow a bit more faster travel, but not like a huge amount. I'm also going to place down a farm just on the other side of the storage barn. This is going to be a 15 by 15, which is the maximum size you can have for a crop field. And for this, I am going to, we gotta have the 2 trees removed from it first. I'll figure that out in a minute. So the impetus for starting this new series was just to kind of get a feel for some of the worker placement games that I have. A lot of them are kind of, Civilization or Age of Empires or what have you. But Banished I thought was kind of an interesting little game. As I said, I only really got into it a couple of years ago, and even that, I didn't really actually sit down and have time to play it until just very recently. Okay, now looking at the rest of the terrain here, we have some options. So one of the other things I'm going to do is probably place another crop field up here at the top, or put an orchard up in here. They are also going to be 15 by 15. They are allowed to have either 3 or 4 people working on them, depending on what it is they have. And also there's a lot of really great trees in this area down here. So I think what's going to happen is off to the side a bit, where I'm not going to build, intentionally not going to build, I will put down a, maybe down here. There's a lot of real good resources down there. I don't think I want to eliminate that just yet. I'm going to put down a lot of some of this other stuff here. A hunting lodge, or hunting cabin, and a gatherer's hut, and a forester lodge. Those are going to be 3 things that are going to be out in the woods. Forester lodge will provide us basically an infinite amount of wood. It's going to take a while to build up the stock that we have, but within this radius, all of our wood is going to be replenished over and over and over again, as many times as we can get. If we do place the Forester Lodge near an orchard, they will chop down the orchard trees, which is not a good thing. Alright, we're going to take in, let's see, we got wheat and beans, so let's go with wheat. I haven't done that yet. And set to work 4 people. We're going to get to work immediately on this and build up our food supply. I want, let's see, I want all of the stone removed from basically this whole area. Let's do that. And this whole area. Stone's going to be really important as we go. No surprise here, our stone houses are going to require a lot. And a lot of the other buildings that we make are also going to require quite a bit. Immediately get 1 teacher working. And that's going to allow the 2 children that we started with. I feel like I came here with more. That's too bad. I started the last game with 10 adults and 7 children, so having 10 and 2 is less than ideal. So immediately one of my laborers is going to be turned into a teacher. They're going to go and sit in the schoolhouse and wait for one of our 2 children to come of age. When they come of age, they will become a student, and they will stay a student until they are 17 years old. It does prevent you from having an extra laborer. They will be students for 7 years, which is not actually 7 years game time, but it's like 7 seasons, basically, or something like that. And then they become educated laborers. Educated laborers have a lot of create a lot of benefit and are able to do things a lot faster. So now we have the fishing dock coming online. We're going to set 1 of our laborers to work the fishing dock. Our 2 builders are going to be working on the house. The other laborers, the 2 that we have in the town, are dropping off resources. They're going to get some more iron for that, and then we'll start on that house. In the meantime, I'm going to unpause the other house to allow the other laborers to bring resources to that house. Now notice I'm not going to do them all at once. This is going to be more or less one at a time. We do not have a whole lot of stone, so hopefully get that going. You will see over on the side, Stone Cutter is currently listed at 0, 0. That's because stone cutters specifically quarry stone from the ground using quarries. So if you build a quarry, like this one over here, requires 80 wood and 40 iron, then you have a designated place which will create stone, but at the same time, it uses up that location. So you cannot use that space for anything else at any point during the rest of the game. So quarries are permanent. You don't fill them back in. Alright, we are immediately also going to want a blacksmith. And let's see, what else do we want immediately? So, as we get later on in the seasons, winter is a great time to create stuff, but at the same time you don't necessarily want to be creating stuff that you needed to have by that point. Herbalist can go out in the woods. They're also the same. They also allow grabbing of resources in order to create medicines from them. So let's turn the house this way. Let's create the road. I'm going to go pretty much all the way to the mountain here. Yeah, that'll work. So out to here. It's designated roads, that should give us a line that we can at least kind of stop. Yep. Reserve of everything's low at this point. Collect iron. is a lot of iron. This early in the game, we probably only need about 1,000 to 1,500 food, give or take, to survive the winter. As you build the town, naturally you need more food, and you will also have more food resources. So there will be eventually hunters and all sorts of other people that you can get to build up your stock. That wasn't one of mine. No. Okay. Trees do eventually grow old and fall over, so it's not really a surprise. I just didn't know if I randomly had a person way up here for some reason, and that's not the case. As we build more of our town, we can build a tavern which brews alcohol and can make citizens happy. We can get iron from the ground through a mine and stone from the ground using a quarry. At the moment, we are in a very rich area for both stone and iron, so I'm not going to touch that and do anything with it. Our tools are at 28, and clothes are at 18. These are the extras that we have available. Those numbers will go down, and so we do need to make sure that we have there's the road. So you can see here I have a red stripe where the road is, but if you put the arrows on the road, it allows me to place there. I do want the herbalist to be somewhat deep in the woods to be able to look around for stuff that is here, and people will come to the herbalist if they need medical care, so maybe actually be a little bit closer to town. So let's place the herbalist there. Let's place the we need a woodcutter. This is an extremely important task. We want the woodcutter to be right next to the stockpile so that they can grab the logs and put them into the firewood immediately. Need more stone. Okay. Hopefully they'll be off getting more stone very quickly. Alright, so town services, we can get all sorts of cool stuff, but for right now we don't really need anything. Food production, I do want another crop field, and I do want an orchard pretty soon. Orchards take about 4 years to get going, so let's see. Gatherer's hut might also be useful. Let's put them right next to... yeah, put them right next to the herbalist. Gatherers start looking for roots and berries and nuts and all sorts of cool stuff out in the woods. And hunters... usually you want to take a little bit of time and look for some deer that are out in the woods and notice kind of where their migration patterns are. They do migrate throughout the season, and it does help to... there's a mushroom there. It does help to notice them, so you can at least have an idea of where your hunters should be, because if your hunters are way out in the middle of nowhere and there aren't any deer, they're not going to produce very much. So keep a lookout. Now, I could very well be completely wrong about this. It's been known to happen. But the biggest problem I think that I would see is that I'm just coming at this with kind of, this is what I have seen, but it's not necessarily true. Alright, get the dirt road to go back over to the main road, and then people will start making this road eventually. Let's pause the hunting cabin for now. early summer, and our wheat field has a 34% yield. If we went and harvested right this second, we would only get 34% of the total yield that this crop would have. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but we'll get there. Let's put up another stone house at bottom here. So that's only 2 spaces, I think, so maybe go to the top here. 1, 2, 3. Put another one there. We'll pause that one and let people grab all the stone they can. One of the irks I do have with this game is that we don't actually have the ability to have the workers grab the resources from where they're pulling them and then put them directly onto where they need to go. They have to go back to the stockpile first, and then somebody else is going to grab it from the stockpile and then go back to where it's needed. It gets a little ridiculous, I'm not going to lie. Not a huge fan of that particular mechanic, but it's not a humongous deal. Alright, so we got everything paused except this one stone house. I want them to finish this, hopefully quickly. So the fisherman will get us 1 food somewhat quickly, at a decent rate at least. Currently we only have potatoes. Still, none of the children have reached that age, so we're kind of out of luck at the moment. Take 2 of our laborers, turn them into builders. Let's get this house going. In the meantime, we can get this house started. So unlike Age of Empires or other games like that, this micromanagement pretty much doesn't exist. You are just at a top layer saying what you want to happen, and the villagers just go about their business trying to do the best that they can. I can increase the priority using the up arrow here of this particular house and this particular house. So hopefully they'll take a little more notice and not try and get a whole bunch of iron that we don't need at the moment. I guess we need a little bit of iron for this one, but not try and follow my directions at just getting iron out in the fields instead of actually working on this stuff. Started grabbing logs for this house. We've got 2 people, good, working on this house, so that'll get up in just a minute. This guy's got 9 logs. And educated workers can collect resources at a faster rate as well. So you can check their inventories here. 9 logs for an educated worker. Hopefully right now we have some workers who are going to go after this stone that somebody quarried and just kind of left there. That might very well be my fault. Hope she's got it. Yeah, there we go. So this is mine. Perhaps mini. And again, you can see that she has an iron tool, or tool set she's working with. Her clothing is currently here listed as fair condition. She is 20. Her health is at 4.5 hearts, and her happiness is all the way up currently. So as people get, as things get harder, as they invariably do, their individual happiness will start going down. So you do have to worry about that. We are in summer, and there's a lot of people getting that stone out of the ground. I think at the moment, where are the workers? Builders. Going way out by the lodges. Getting this wood out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's slightly concerning. 3 logs. We went all the way for 3 logs. Okay. And to build a road. Jeez, dude. Okay, so this is also one of the problems with creating roads that are just too long. They apparently prioritize roads instead of housing, which is kind of necessary. Alright, let's do priority. Get up the stone. It is late summer. We're up to a 69% yield for wheat. At any point you can hit the harvest button and manually harvest. I don't recommend it. They pretty much know what they're doing. They will occasionally leave stuff to rot in the fields, but it's not very often. Usually they start harvesting somewhere in autumn. Can't get one more house down here. That's too bad. Guess we could do that. It's not ideal, but I think that's the road. There we go. It's 1, 2, 3. Do that and pause. So we'll wait on that house for a while. Oops. No, I didn't get that one. Okay. Who's this? Heron, the same guy who's got the 3 logs. Apparently he's going to grab fish from the fishing dock and then bring it back. It's an awful long way to go. I swear he was a worker just a minute ago. Huh. Okay. There again, going out into the woods to get stuff instead of building houses. Okay, so lesson for later, those of you who are interested. Don't build unnecessary roads, because they will prioritize that. Fun. Alright, so that is the hunting cabin. We also want the forester lodge. I'm going to build this right next to the hunting cabin. And let's not get the ridge line. Yeah, let's go like this. It's going to take a little tiny bit of the ridge and a little tiny bit of the river, but that's alright. We'll wait on that. Iron is low. Extra baby. Great. So we're going to build a road to ring the field. So that's going to be 11, 12, 14, 15. Where can we get there? Okay, so starting 4 places over, we got about here. Allowed to get up to 15. That's still touching the other one. I don't want it to touch the... Okay. Here. Yep. 15 by 15. Another crop field in here. Pause. Trying to get it as close as I can to the storage barn. Here we got 2 of our builders. Yeah. Making the road and taking out some of the iron, maybe. Yep. Alright, it is now early autumn. Let's see, harvesting has begun on the wheat. Up to 32, 38 stone on the house. Really? She only have 4? No, why is she... She's taking 2 stone with her off somewhere. No idea what she's doing. Alright, with these you can also check house inventories individually and see what kinds of resources they all have. Thinking about removing this road just so they don't actually build it. But it might be too little too late at this point. Considering I keep hearing either road building or stone cutting, but either way. It's all good. We'll figure this out. Alright, we're still in early autumn. Temperature is dropping to 41 degrees, and we're getting some rain in. Yes, it is in Fahrenheit, and... well, being a math guy, you can tell how I probably feel about it, but nonetheless, we'll just go with it. Farmer is now leaving stone in the field. Okay. Just mined stone for a little bit and then left. Cool. It's like this person who's now carrying stone and iron is not dropping the stone off at the building that needs stone. She's gonna go put it back in the stockpile. That's great, but like it could have been much better used over here. And it would have been a much shorter trip. Now, this lady's bringing stone over here. Alright, that was all of it. Alright. Stone is low. Yeah. Well, we know. Still do not have a woodcutter. Be nice if I could actually see the priority being raised on this stuff. Alright, so we got one. And 0 people working on it. Okay. Number of citizens working at this location, currently 0 of 2. I'm counting 2. This is a very interesting method of counting. Okay, here we go. Got this farmer who, again, just hacked down a tree and then decided to go back to farming. The other 2 are laborers, so that makes sense. They're going to chop down all the trees in this immediate area, take down any iron or stone that's here in order to clear out the area and make room for the woodcutters. But again, the person collecting the logs is not going to just drop them right here. They're going to bring it all the way back to, granted it's not that far, but they're going to bring it back over here to, maybe? Oh. Normally they bring it to the stockpile. Okay. She's just going to take those logs away. I really don't understand. I'm very confused. Alright, we're still in autumn. The temperature is now 29 degrees, below freezing, and our crop, if you notice the yield, even if you take people off, and it has been frosting, so it has, the frost has hit, as we see right here, this yield will decrease, and you can see actually pieces of the crops here are disappearing without anyone touching them. So this is basically like the crop is dying on its own by itself. So with 4 people working on the field, we were able to get all of that. We were able to get all of the wheat up to 100% yield, and then they started working on it. If you decide to cut it a little bit early, when it reaches like 95%, you will probably get all of that 95%, rather than getting like 90 to 97% of 100% yield. So I don't know what the exact math would be on that for like when's the optimal time to figure it out. Normally, most players are probably just going to let it go and let them reach 100 and work with it from there. Okay, so here, see that they'll pick up the logs. Maybe. Okay, he's going to pick up the logs, and he's going to just move away from here. It's not going to ink. Cool. Didn't even pick up the other logs. I really don't know what she's doing. Idling. That's fair. It's been a hard year. Alright, so now that we are at 0% yield, all of the food has been picked up except these little baskets that are just kind of left in the middle of nowhere. They will be coming out of here eventually. Probably. Somebody's going to get them. Alright, so what we want are... We're going to need an herbalist pretty soon. Going to have the woodcutter very soon. We only have 100 wood, chopped wood currently, so we got to get that going. Alright, so currently there are no more things to do in the fields, except take these baskets, which they're still just ignoring. but whatever, it's cool. Now, normally when you have no place to work, these people just become laborers automatically, and they're dedicated to be farmers, but it'll only happen when there's actually a place for them to work. So I don't actually like this mechanic myself. I usually just drag them back to being laborers in general, and then I can choose from there what I want to do. So I will increase the number of builders to 4. And have them be dedicated builders, and then we just have 4 generic laborers. So just as another note, I put my houses really close together in a different world, and one of them caught fire, which is not really surprising, right? Accidents happen, all that stuff. But then, because they were so close together, they all started catching fire, and I lost 3 houses out of the, 6 or 7 that I had. So that was unfortunate, and a lot of people ended up without housing. Alright, so 3 people, allegedly, are building the woodcutting station. We got 2 of them out there one of them out there right now. She's probably not going to complete it. Usually they're on and off by rotation. So, yeah, 2 other builders, there we go. Again, I don't understand quite how the mechanics work here, why she just wandered off. Oh, she needed a new tool. So I guess her iron tool broke or something. And the third one is idling. Oh, that's a child. Never mind. Kids can idle. That's fine. I'm going to bring 1 woodcutter in here. You'll see that the fuel limit is 200, and that is the amount of stored firewood that will be capped at. When the town gets bigger, you either need to add another woodcutter or increase the fuel limit to 300 or 400, and then there'll just be a dedicated woodcutter going all year round. Alright, we're still in late autumn, got 10 adults and now 4 children. The first of whom is probably, the oldest of whom is probably coming up on age, in which case they will turn into a student. And this does mean that, again, I have had an adult in here doing absolutely nothing as a teacher for this entire time. And again, in the other game, I had 7 kids to start with, so the first one became a student almost immediately. And in fact, in a game prior to that, I had a student become an uneducated laborer almost immediately, because I didn't have enough time to make the school. Alright, we got 2,000 food, going with 772 potato, 40 fish, and 1,271 wheat. Looking good so far. We've used up 1 hide coat, which means that a lot more are going to follow pretty soon. We've used up about 5 iron tools, and again, a lot more are going to come pretty soon. Yeah, the builders are going out there, aren't they? Let's increase priority on this again. Increased priority on some of this stuff, so this is good. Most of this stone is being taken up. We see that almost all of it's gone here. This is good. Got no stone in reserve. Not so good, but we'll deal with it. Good news is that if we do end up with some of these homeless people who end up having icy, or they'll end up having a snowflake icon over their head if they've gotten too cold. All they need to do is just stop into another house that is heated, so one of these, and basically pay them a visit, and then they're fine. They are inconvenienced for a little while, but it's not too bad. Alright, I'm gonna again put another blacksmith shop up top here, and rotate to put it right up against the storage shed. Move one back. Again, I'm not sure how things burn down or what have you. I don't want to take any chances on it. We have another crop field. This is early winter, so we're doing okay. Still 5 homeless people. We'll get them into houses pretty soon. Put that crop field on next. Which will also signal that all of that stuff needs to be removed from it. I guess most of these were newborn children, so hooray. Alright, let's build the orchard in here, and again we're going to make it 15 by 15, which is the largest we can make. And again, deposit 76 items that need to come out of there before it can actually be used as an orchard. So that's interesting. Alright, Forester Lodge does not include the orchard, as far as I can tell. No. It's a decent distance away, so we're good there. Alright, we're almost done with this. Got some people starting to work on the second field. How many people we got homeless now? Down to 2. Alright, good shape. Alright, we've got 160 firewood, and about to increase again. 184, we're doing alright. It is also during the winter that you can increase work at the fishing dock in order to make up food production that you're not getting from the fields. Or hunting, if you have deer just walking through the middle of your town. Hey! You know, who said they would ignore, or who said they would be driven away by human activity? Average health of citizens is 4.5 health, so we will need to get this herbalist going pretty soon. Right now it's not too bad, it's not like dire concern or anything. Still only got 4 of the 50 items in this field are now taken care of, and this is also including the items that are stacked resources, so they need to come out of here as well. If they are laying in the field, they count against you. So... and again, they're choosing to build that road right now. Okay. We are in midwinter, and it is 9 degrees out and snowing. So again, if either of these 2 homeless people here, this 18-year-old laborer and this 23-year-old builder, if they end up getting cold, they're just going to find their way back into a warm place for a little while, warm up, and then come right back out. I believe that because they don't have an official home, they are their productivity has gone down a bit. So, not really all that surprising. Wouldn't yours? Set another house to be built out here for the area. This game is pretty relaxed. You can come in here and just play around a little bit. I am also not turning up the simulation time. I just personally prefer to watch the goings-on. I will eventually, I'm sure, play around with it. But for right now, it's just a nice, calm, relaxing thing. And I'll speed it up in post if it's boring. Still, no children have become students. We still have 5 children. It is important to note, if a child reaches age of working, so 10 years old, and there is not a teacher actually employed in the building, that child will become an uneducated worker, and you cannot send them to school. And this is also true if you have them employed and then decide to recall the teacher. If you recall the teacher, reduce the number of teachers to 0 or what have you, and a student is currently being taught, they will immediately become an uneducated worker. In fact, all students become uneducated workers instantaneously. So you got to make sure that you're not messing around with the number of teachers, or don't mess around with the number of teachers you have, just because you don't want to accidentally ruin a kid's life. And they will lose out. There we go. There's one. They will lose out on the speed bonus that they get from being an educated worker for their entire lives. Again, there's no way to go back from it, which might be a little silly, but still. I am a little bit upset that, again, this doesn't allow me to micromanage a little bit better, but at the same time, not micromanaging is probably good overall. Okay, so we got that field going. We are going to create wheat in this field, and we are going to make beans in this field next year. We'll turn off work for right now. They are going to be stopped. As soon as this changes to early spring, we can shift that, start work on them, and then have the people going. Alright, how are we doing on resources? I don't know why I opened that. Doing okay. So, in general, we're losing a bit of firewood. That's fine. Our woodcutter apparently still thinks that we're maxed out. No. Okay, good. Alright, we'll start the herbalist so we can get some medicine. So I'm going to cancel removal in these kind of like far away places, so that they'll hopefully stick a little closer to home. I'm also going to stick a stockpile way out here in the boonies, across from the foresting lodge. They can be maximum 10 by 10. I don't think we're going to need anything that big, but sure, why not? So allow us to collect all of this stone, iron, and wood and place it in this stockpile. The laborers will then come down here to collect and then bring it back up to either the main stockpile or to wherever it needs to go. I'm just going right on down the line and getting all of that. We're in early spring, so now we're going to start work on the fields. We're going to increase the number of farmers to, let's see, we'll take down the number of builders to 2, and increase the number of farmers to 4. We'll have 2 in each field, and that's going to be good enough for now at least. We only have 1 laborer still, which is not super great, but it'll work. If we get desperate, we can take the woodcutter and or fishermen off and get them working on other stuff. Alright, they're going to start getting to work on the orchard and the herbalist, hopefully pretty soon. Running low on jobs for them to do. There is also a collect all resources. Oops. Right here, remove all resources. This will also take out all of the mushrooms and other stuff that's in here. I don't really recommend that. So like this gatherer is going to have this mushroom in this space, and I think it's a replenishable resource, so even if the gatherer comes out and collects this, it's still going to be there. Again, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems right. And if they can still collect it, I'd like them to be able to still collect it. So I will manually select harvest trees, or collect stone, or collect iron out of this area, anywhere that I'm trying to build. And then anywhere I actually want a specific building, then I will place the building down, and then it will remove anything that's there, which may include the mushrooms or other stuff. There's onions in here too, which is good. Alright, I am not seeing any farmers working in this field. Okay. And farmer was collecting iron, apparently. Maybe too early still. Each of the crops have specific things that you can do, so the wheat looks like it is in time that it's going to start working. Ah, here we go. Nope, that's a child. Yep, the farmer just cleared out the wheat from last year. So now he's going to start, hopefully, planting the beans on this end. Beans are a great crop. They grow pretty quickly. They will die off fast in the winter, so you do have to be careful of that, or late autumn. So hopefully they will be okay. Okay. Alright, so we got our farmers working the soil. Builders are attempting to build. Okay, just took out that tree, looks like. Yep. But again, she's holding 6 logs that could be used at this location. Ha. Finding someplace warm. Okay, this person just brought, child just brought food to their home, age 3. Good job. Start them early, I guess. Alright, wheat's coming along pretty well. Beans are still a little early to tell. Oh, there we go. Alright, we're doing alright with resources. So now it's time to get our assorted infrastructure up and running. So here we're going to, again, get the gatherer or herbalist going, gatherer after that, and probably forester after that. You know what? We've still got a lot of trees up north. Probably the hunting cabin next, so that we can have hides, so we can get leather, so we can make some clothes. So we're going to start running out of clothes, unfortunately, pretty quick. And we still don't have enough people for all this other stuff, unfortunately. Alright, so storage barn, we may need another one pretty soon. Again, to store the leathers that are coming off of the hunting cabin. So we'll go there. And we will pause this as well. So, can't even pause the stockpile, that's awesome. Unfortunately, we've been using up 2 of our workers to start collecting stuff from this, so... Alright, our woodcutter has reached 211, so now he's going to start being just a laborer. So he has brought some stone down, I assume. Help collect. We are in spring now. Doing alright with our wheat and our beans. Alright. We're starting to build the herbalists. And we will probably stockpile 1 herbalist for a little bit, and then we're going to have to take them off and do other building projects and stuff like that. We may just leave the herbalist place empty for a season. Unless somebody's actually sick. Yeah, I'll take off the hunting cabin. Blacksmith will come soon after that. Run the length of the field here. Length of the field here. Also do that up here for the have that just come straight down so that they can get to where they need to go if they need to go somewhere. Currently no workers finishing up the herbalist hut, but that's alright. This is going to be pretty slow going again because I did start out only with 2 children. Again, by this point in my previous one, I already had like 7 students, and 8 to 10 more children. So they were coming up through the ranks pretty quickly. So we're going to let this herbalist go idle for a little bit. Cutting down some stuff with the, oh yeah, to build a road. Again with the road. Probably a bad idea. off building for a bit. See what they do. Old growth across the river just fell over. Alright, so we're going to increase priority on the hunting lodge and on the last house. So those 3 laborers should be doing okay. We got 30% yield so far on both crops. Doing okay. Again, it's not super, but it's going to work because we only needed 4 farmers last season to do plenty for our town. Alright, with the creation of a second stockpile, it will be helpful fairly soon, but not immediately, to build a market, probably somewhere in this area, to be centrally located, to allow both stockpiles to bring stuff to the market and allow free exchange of goods. Build the road around the orchard. And again, because I have builders working on other projects, that's not going to be a priority. We're in late spring, and we're almost up to 50% on yields. This is good. Beans, you'll note, right, grew very quickly. They were actually lower than wheat for quite a while. Alright, so they both prioritize to the hunting cabin. Interesting. Early summer. I do believe that also because these 2 people do not have a home, that they are not going to have a child. So this is also slowing down our citizen production. Alright, let's put 1 there and 1 there. So let's spread out the work. Get 1 person on each project. Hopefully they'll get it done. Doing alright. Early summer, 2nd year. Apparently they're both here. Okay, fine. No, this is fine. Just gonna wait for the house to be built and then we'll reset. Put 2 on the lower, on the hunting cabin. There we go. And both of our citizens are now have a home. Okay, so they're going to build that road instead of taking resources to the other place, so I'm just going to stop them again. The laborers are going to bring all resources necessary down to build the hunting cabin. It's going to be 4 logs and 12 stone that we need more. Again, why are you... Don't understand. Why is she carrying around 3 logs? Makes no sense. Alright, cool. Whatever. This is fine. Apparently the hunting cabin should just be right down here. Can include part of our town. And she only brought one wood instead of also stone. Alright, cool. As interesting as the town hall would be, I'm not going to do that for now. Let's see, right. I will put in the market, although I won't be doing anything with it. So we need to have both the stockpiles and both the barns inside of this range. Could go all the way up here. But I want to include any expansion that I might be doing later. So I'm going to go out a little ways. And pause. So this market will be set up. It's going to take a long time before we get there. Alright, cool. Got all the resources. Hunting cabin's being built. And we will start on... I guess the stockpile's still working. Start on the secondary storage barn immediately after that. I like this little dell area, that's kind of interesting. Alright, 82, 98, 98% yield on the beans. You notice that we've only had 2 people working on this, and we're still in summer, and they're almost to 100% yield. I believe that harvesting might take a little bit longer, so we're still going to lose some of the crop at the back end. Alright, and you will also notice that I changed what crops were in each place. There's no evidence that suggests that we need to actually rotate crops. I'm just kind of doing that out of pedantry, I guess. Maybe stubbornness, to make sure that, you know, if there is such a mechanic, that I'm not going to run afoul of it. When the Forester Lodge is built, there are a couple of interesting things you can do with it. First is that you can, well, the foresters will harvest trees, but then they'll also plant to replenish them. It is a bit slower than the workers who are just going out and hacking things down. But, man, they're back to that road. Alright, I'm just going to let them finish that. It is a bit slower than just chopping things down, but at the same time it replenishes the stock, so you can at least keep having trees from that particular area over and over and over again. So, renewable resources, all that. Alright, this is going to be a prime location to build a bridge later. I can, again, get that set up now. Not actually do anything with it, but... So if I go like this... Oh, no. I can't build one at that location. Awesome. And they're not going to go straight, so... Cool. Also in addition... That's going to be a pain, but... Whatever. I'm going to work pause that. We don't need to go build a bridge and go over there and collect resources. We've got plenty of resources on this side. But at least having a plan for it is going to be useful for later. Alright, it is currently late summer, 88% yield on the wheat field. Still doing pretty well. I'm going to harvest this. The wheat field is probably not going to get much better than 94% with only 2 workers. And again, we're going to start losing crop as we get into fall. So I'm going to call it there. That's good. And he's going to build the road. I only have one more space after this. I think that's it. That might have been it. Alright, so they at least have room to move. That is a lot of iron. Might as well turn on the... No, that's not even going to do it. Quarries are the ones that take a lot of iron. So yeah, I'm not doing that yet. Pastures are also interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have any livestock to put in them. You can't catch deer unless you download a mod for it. That's not happening. Not today, anyway. Alright, could also use a tailor pretty soon, because again, I'm going to run out of clothing. Put them here. I don't really have any other good places for it, so we'll just pause that. And a tavern will again throw them in, and then throw them in here. 1, 2, 3. And then pause. So really, again, we don't have a whole lot of people to spare, workers to spare. During the winter time, we're going to have a lot of the farmers doing other jobs around town, like the herbalist, probably gathering eventually, tailor, blacksmith. But for now, right in the hunting cabin. But for now, we're just going to do the best we can with the limited 10 people that we have. Alright, we got 2808 in terms of stored food. We're doing alright. This is certainly going to get us through the winter. We're going to have to build that blacksmith shop pretty soon. Hey, Gil. And fairly soon I'm going to need a tailor too. So we're about burned through about half of the resources that we'd started with either of those. Alright, late autumn, and we've now stopped production in the bean field, and all of the farmers have been reassigned to the wheat field. So it's looking pretty good. Haven't had too much in the way of crop loss at the moment, although we just got the frost, so it's coming. You know, you think these 3-year-olds would be alright with a scythe. He's only 1. 0, but still walking. 6, there you go. That kid can have a scythe. She's fine. Yeah, here we go. We're losing some of the crops here. You see that they're growing smaller in the field, and then eventually they disappear. Crop loss with this was pretty minor, so we're not in too bad of shape. 28 wheat, yeah, that's pretty good. $90 wheat, alright. %, full, 87% full. We're still doing okay on this. It's not going to be a huge problem, I don't think. Alright, getting these resources picked up so that we can start the orchard for next year. Alright, we got this one farmer who's going to go and pick up this lonely basket out in the field. Just kind of curious how much is in there. 28, yeah. About 88% full. Awesome. Alright, so we have a crap ton of iron in here and no stone anymore. So we're going to have to go and find some more stone. We're going to gather this next year, though. So we're going to wait until it's warm to do any more of this stuff that's like far out. This one will be alright, so we'll start building the tavern. It's right next to some houses. They'll stay nice and warm. And then we'll see if... I don't think a quarry could fit. Nah. That's a mine anyway. Yeah, the mine doesn't have... It needs a big hill. And this is just like a little tiny hill, so that's not going to work. Quarry, again, this is going to need somewhere away from a hill, but there's a hill in the way here. So we could mine... We could put a quarry in here. Definitely have more than enough iron. Yeah, this being right next to a house, it's also going to be pretty good for keeping warm. Actually, we'll just pause that to make sure that they finish the stockpile first. Yep. So the top, or the stockpile up top is starting to get too full. So it's just throwing a warning down here. Good news, we're creating this new stockpile 10 by 10, so should be just fine. And picking up resources. Interesting. Where are you picking up resources? It's making me slightly nervous. One person is too cold. Where is she? Why in the hell was she up there? Alright, one of my children is just about to die of exposure. Why did she go exploring that far? That is insane. If she dies, I'm gonna be so pissed off. And almost got hit by a tree. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so we take the farmers off. I'm going to assign one of them to gather herbs. Got 2 builders still out there working on stuff. And now 4 laborers. So this ought to be good. Really hoping she just heads for the first available hut. Yep, there we go. Alright, so you see the snowflake will disappear in a second. There we go. She's better now. Jeez. Where are her parents? Good news about this stockpile, when they're making the stockpile, it just kind of, like, all the resources just kind of appeared in the stockpile. Alright, also good news, there's a ton of wheat. So the really super awesome news is that you can make beer. If you get wheat as one of your starting resources, or one of your starting seeds that you can put in the fields, you are in good shape. So again, I'm going to rotate crops. I am going to grow walnuts, apparently. I don't think we can plant anything, being the middle of winter. Can always try. Maybe. So apparently we might be able to at least plant the orchard trees and get all of the walnut trees in the ground, and won't be able to do anything with them, but they'll at least be in the ground and ready to be worked for the next few years, seems like. Nice. Yes. So we're gonna get... Okay, cool. So this guy's gonna work the walnut orchard and get a few of the trees at least in the ground and ready to be worked in the spring. That's pretty awesome. I didn't think that was even possible. Who else is cold? Why are you out there? What the hell? Six-year-old. All by herself. What? No. Why? This is the first time this has ever happened. You know, all the other games that I'd played otherwise, the kids all stayed in the town. Like, I don't understand. Why? This is insane. Alright, I'm just gonna add the third farmer in. Again, just to get her here. Storage barns being completed down the bottom. Apparently she just dropped a bunch of logs down here. Okay, cool. Alright, so where's this kid? Had to apparently walk around the other side of the river. How'd she get over there? Ugh. She walked all the way around the river, got cold, and decided had to walk. Oh my god. This is insane. Well, she's 7 now. Jeez. Oh. And she's hungry. Great. I imagine that she won't actually die until her health decreases below the... Right. So she's at 4 now. She was at 4.5 when I first saw her. Probably not good, but I think she's gonna make it back. Can't say I'm wild about the AI. Alright, we got 3 medicines. Alright, we got now 2 designated students. Blacksmith is up and running. Alright, we're going to wait on resource gathering until the end of the season. We're going to wait on the storage barn until spring comes again. We're in late winter right now. She is freezing and hungry. And why did she run out that far? It's insane. Alright, let's start on this wooden bridge, just because. Because the next kid who does that, I want him back as fast as they can. Jeez. Well, also good news, that is her actual house, so she's just gonna stop there, clear statuses. There you go. What? Oh, you punk. Fidel the child has died of starvation. She made it back. You jerks. Alright, well this is going to be the Fidel Memorial Bridge up here. Jeez. You jerks. Alright, now that the weather appears to be clearing up a bit, we're going to start collecting stone along this simple route right next to our southern stockpile. Alright, we have enough food that we can actually just coast for a while. Not the best idea, but can at least increase the number of farmers we have at the orchard by one, and then maybe like one in each of the fields. So we got basically one in each location. It's not absolutely ideal, but it doesn't particularly matter. So we got one in each location, and we're doing alright. Alright, where are the builders? And labor down here as well. Looking at hacking some stone. Okay, cool. Alright, so we're going to need you can probably back off from the fisherman and include him as a blacksmith, or whoever it is. It's going to be the blacksmith. In order to make some new tools for us, we only got 8 in reserve. Normally you want about 50 to be maximum. And lay off the woodcutter for a little bit. Let's see where the cemetery could be built. Not on top of the hill. That's too bad. Too small. Jeez. Alright, so a cemetery must be at least 7 by 7. So 0% in the southern stockpile because they're building a storage barn there. Everything's been taken away. Got the logs for the bridge up north, but no stone. This is fine. Alright, we still got 2 students and 5 kids. Alright, I'm going to recall the herbalist. So we've got 25 medicines, 25 herbs. So we're probably good in that respect. Where is she going? She took 2 stone and then she just walked off to nowhere. Is it just the bridge? That'd be an awful waste. Nope. Okay, and 6 logs. This one's full. Where's she going? Where is she going? She just... The routing on this AI is fascinating. Alright, let's add a blacksmith again. Hopefully the blacksmith will just grab the nearest wood and then throw it into the blacksmith shop. Where? Yeah. Way down here. Not likely to make it all the way back before the logs are taken out of here. Yep. Not gonna happen. Nine logs. Taken to here. Okay. 6 and 3. Alright. Good enough. Blacksmith was carrying herbs, apparently. That's cool. Alright, fine. You don't have any more logs, so you're just gonna go wandering. Alright. So anyway, you will see how iron tools require logs and iron in order to make, and steel tools require logs, iron, and coal. Coal is a resource that you gather from the mines. In order to build the mine, you have to find a big giant hill like this, and then build a mine into it. So let's see if we can... something like this. Again, something like this, not exactly. You know what, let's just, in fact, find out where we are here. Build it, and then pause. So we can have that later, when it actually becomes required. Steel, naturally, is just easier to use. Ends up having a higher yield. But right now we don't have enough workers to spare to put them in the mines, especially with the dangerous nature of mine work. Alright, all 4 of our workers are currently working on the storage barn down south. Which may or may not be actually a wise idea, but whatever, it's cool. Alright, so 3 are going to be working on that, and 1 are going to be working on the bridge. So 3 on the tavern, 1 on the bridge. Alright, let's start cutting down some trees in the main area. There's only 1 current laborer. He's got fish. Presumably, she is going to go cut down some of those trees. See how that goes. Tavern's getting there. Still only have 10 workers to speak of. Hessica the farmer decided to chop down a tree and then walk away. Yes, her farm did not actually need anything at that exact moment in time. Okay, good news, he's got 6 iron tools. It's going to help us out replenish the amount of stored tools that we have. And also has a few logs that were picked up on the ground, off the ground, dropping off the logs instead of taking them. Drops off his iron tools in the shed, and then gonna pick up the exact same logs that you just had. Please? Yeah, okay, yeah, 9. Going to be using those 9 to build more tools. Alright, I got 4 builders and nothing left to build, so take back all 4 of them. They are chopping down the trees in this area. That's good. We're also going to need some stone. So chop down or take down the stone in this immediate area. Alright, since we don't have any actual apples or berries or cherries or peach, alright, the only thing we've actually got for alcohol is wheat. So here, if we make wheat alcohol and make one of our laborers the brewer, it's going to be able to make some sort of awesome wheat concoction. So this is the summer of the 3rd year. We now have 11 adults, 1 child, nope, 1 student, and 6 children. So now I think I'm going to leave the, yep, and we have a functioning tavern. So I think I'm going to leave the town of Edgewoodburn for now, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Stay safe. Good luck out there. This is Obi-Wan Pez, signing off.